Okay, so hopefully the last video, I was right on the, I went to notes, I was right on when I write down the books I'm discussing. So, unfortunately, this will not be also a library haul. When I upload this, hopefully on Tuesday or Thursday, whenever probably Tuesday, when I decide to upload it, or if I forget tonight, forget to schedule it, I'll be away in Ossipee. And what sucks is that I'll be away on the week that I'd be able to go to the library and Newbury. Double whammy. Yeah, it's not worth it, Ossipee. Not worth it. At all. Because I'm a homebody. I'm a indoor kid. I will always be an indoor kid, too. No one can change that at all. And they've tried. And, I like to go outside, too. Like, I like to, I'll go... Maybe I just like doing in-store stuff all the time. And it's not like the worst thing. I'll go outside. I'll swim a little bit, but I'm not going to go outside for a week, Anyways, let's go on with it. Outcast. Just a damn good series. It's Robert Kirkman's Outcast. If you like this Walking Dead, you'll adore his Outcast. And what's good about this series is that it's different enough, it's just distinct enough from his Walking Dead series, that you won't be like, oh, what's the point of reading this? I can just read Walking Dead again. No, they're very different series. And pretty scary, I gotta say. Like, it's more like, when you really think about it, like, your head making up more scary thing, or either your mind making up more scary, shit than what the comic is showing you. It's more of like show don't tell type of thing, and what they show, they don't tell, obviously, and that's the best kind of horror in my opinion. And when you really like, oh man, that was kind of scary when you think about it. And of course there's like demons and shit, but it's more just like you think about like what these characters had to deal with, that it gets scary. It's just a damn good series. Well-written characters, a damn good plot, and I really hope they have Volume 8. Because I'm rereading this series in anticipation of my library hopefully having Volume 8. It's called Interloans. You get it from the other libraries. Wayward Volume 1. Like I mentioned before, Wayward was the reason why I got Morning Glories. I loved Wayward. It was a damn good series. It was a little choppy here and there. You could tell it's kind of like a... This is kind of like a bargain bin book. This is what you think of when you think of indie books. It's kind of like a different kind of thing, more of like a grounded type of thing, where not a whole lot of like insane junk happens, and when it does, it's kind of like it is insane, but like it's not fully polished. Kind of there's something missing here, but not enough to be able to knock it down. It's still a damn good book, and I will be getting Volume 2. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. It's getting so irritating. I can look past it, but sometimes I can't. When the girl is like, every other sentence she says is, because I'm the smartest person in the world. It's like, why do we write characters like this? What if Reed Richards did that? He'd be canceled on Twitter. Like, you can't, the character, yes, the fictional character Reed Richards would be canceled on Twitter if he said that. If he said he was smarter than the average girl. Like, that would make any sense, wouldn't it? No. And then these characters, these legacy characters, do it and get away with it. That's what I hate. But it's still a good series, still interesting enough to where I'm like, okay, I'll keep reading that, whatever. Rocket Raccoon, the final volume, didn't feel like a final volume. It's the final Scotty Young volume. I think it continues on, like it was a 2017 series, but it's like, shouldn't a character leave? I think it is. It might not be. Because sometimes it'll come back for like a new #1, and it'll still be the same writer. Hence, Shang-Chi, Captain Marvel, Deadpool, so many other Marvel books. So that's probably what end up happening. But even Deadpool ended up, like, it was pretty definitive. I think Captain Marvel did too. At least, like, you knew it was the end of this run, and be coming back, of course, but it's the end of the storyline. It was entire arc, right? Storyline, but arc. From what I remember from Deadpool and Captain Marvel, anyways, there's a reason why I'm rereading Deadpool. Poe Dameron, Star Wars. I didn't think I liked this one. I did. Why couldn't the sequel trilogy have been this? Honestly, it was pretty interesting. A little like convoluted. There's a lot going on. I kind of lost the plot, but that's more of a me kind of thing. But Charles Soule's a damn good writer, and he shows it here. Probably one of his best Marvel books, one of his better Marvel books, because there's this and the Death of Wolverine, and everything else is mid-tier to blech. And it's what I've read. I haven't read everything by Charles Soule that he did for Marvel. It's possible there's a lot more. But I read his Inhumans, I read his Inhuman, like singular Inhuman series. It's a bit better than his Uncanny Inhumans, but by a small margin. And that's because I hated his Uncanny Inhumans. But it's indie work. It's kind of fun. Like him and Scott Snyder, their indie work seems to be, well, not Scott Snyder, no, it's Jason Aaron. Their indie work seems to be better than what they're publishing now. Of course, Jason Aaron's indie work was a long time ago. It was scalped. And Charles Soule was Curse Words. It wasn't too long ago. That's what I've read, anyways. Rogue Volume 1. It's a reread, and I forgot a lot of what happened in the series. A lot. Like, it was things in this book. I was like, how did I not remember that? That was insane. It's a pretty insane book. A lot happens, and like with Poe Dameron, I kind of lost the plot, but again, it's a me thing, and I feel like anyone else wouldn't be too terribly lost. It's a damn good series. Check it out. Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 2. Yes, 2. They brought back Angela. They brought Angela from the Image comic series. This is old news at this point, because this is an old book. I like this Guardians run. I know it's the weaker run, but that should tell you that maybe my opinion isn't the best sometimes, because I like this run, and Dan Abnett's run I like too. I definitely could say that, we'll say that Dan Abnett's run is the better run, but as terms of like what the average fan would want from a Guardians book, I would say the Bendis run is better and more accessible. The Dan Abnett run had like, there's a tie-in here, and it was very involved. Of course, there's a bunch of tie-ins with the Bendis run too, like run into this tie-in from this event. But the Dan Abnett run, like, it was like super involved. But you want a more involved, like more like out there Guardians book, because that's like more than the movies gives you, then read Abnett's run. But if you want like a like a nice little Guardians run that's like easy to pick up, easy to read, it's not like, I gotta pick up this. Like, for the most part, you do have to, but it's not. And sometimes they'll tell you what's going on anyways. I feel like with the Guardians run of Dan Abnett, you kind of had to know what was going on, And even then, you had to read you couldn't just start with issue 1 of Guardians. I feel like I can't do that even now. I just feel like Dan Abnett's run was a lot more, like, will scare a lot more people away than, so to speak, than his, and Bendis' run. Bendis' run is a lot more, like grounded in reality. And yeah, it reminds you of the movies a lot, but it's different than the movies too, I would argue. Doctor Strange, Volume 4, the last one. Bit better than the best volume thus far. It ended on a note where I was like, I kind of want to read this series again. But still, it was just, good enough. I'm never gonna be a huge Doctor Strange fan, I don't think. I like that Orphans issue of Mark Waid's, that random issue of Mark Waid's run they had read. But other than that, I was kind of like, about Doctor Strange. I should probably pick up Mark Waid's run then. DMZ, that's DMZ. DMZ was pretty good. No, I should do Deadpool first, then DMZ. Deadpool was just as good as I remember it. A little bit, like, I feel like after the explosive, that was definitely a word, the explosive, like, hard-hitting, just emotionally, like, tugs at your heartstrings that The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly was. Volume 4, Deadpool versus S.H.I.E.L.D. is just kind of more like, it does feel like a follow-up to Volume 3, obviously. They refer back to what he's not, like, back to his full self, but it does feel like it's back to, here's kooky Deadpool stories, but Deadpool is a little bit more, like, depressed still, after the revelations of Volume 3, which I won't give away, just in case, but by Volume 6 I will have to. Right. DMZ, again, it's just like, this is what I want from political comics. If you're gonna slam your political politics in the comics, do it this way. This is what we're talking about. When everyone argues like, you don't want your the Kelly said the comic freak out she did, that Sci-Fi Wire interview she did where she was freaking out because she thought that no one wanted politics in her comic books. She's like, then what comic books are you reading? And it's like, read DMZ and then read something that, like, these hacks have written, like Mark Russell. Although I did like his second coming. But, like, for example, Mark Russell or I should give it back to like collects the Iconic. When they do political shit, it's pretty bad because they're very biased. DMZ, they're kind of on the right side. They have a point. And these cats don't have a point. They're just saying, like, oh, I'm going to do research, but I hate this part. Oh, Benjamin Percy's Green Arrow. It's a perfect example. Comparing that to DMZ, the way they did political shit, and it's, like, night and day. Transmetropolitan, another one that does political satire perfectly. Just read those. If you want to know why people get so up in arms about political books, but then they say, oh, but these books are good. Yeah, read Transmetropolitan, then read Green Arrow, or read any of these other books that have super biased takes on this political shit and not political shit. X-Men Green is probably the best example. I haven't read it yet, but I've heard it's bad from people I trust. And they've gone for examples, too. But both those are just damn good, and it's interesting. Never thought I'd like political books. I do. Frostbite by Joshua Williamson. So damn good. Read it. It's like the best introduction to Joshua Williamson you can ever get, and I'm glad I have like 50,000 Joshua Williamson books now. 17 to be exact. It was just like twists and turns at every turn, and it was like a grounded world. You felt like this could happen in real life, and it wasn't too convoluted. Like, you knew how everything works. You know, and like, oh, this is how they got to this point in their lives, the Ice Age. It wasn't like, oh, this person did this, and then that happened, and then like you've lost the plot. You're like, this is super convoluted. You're just a story about the Ice Age. You know, I feel like if someone else had written this book. Maybe Scott Snyder, but I think Undiscovered Country I'll end up liking once I give it more of a chance and start reading more than the 4 issues I had. I have the first 3 volumes now, and I'm sure I'll like it. I got it for a reason. But that I felt was very convoluted in the way they were telling their post-apocalyptic shit. It's just like, this is very like, you know, it's not like Hunger Games where it's like obviously made for an audience. No, anyone can pick up Frostbite and enjoy it. Hunger Games is obviously targeted towards teen audiences. Frostbite's targeted to obviously 17 and up because it's mature readers, but it doesn't feel like it's talking down to anybody. And neither did Hunger Games, but Hunger Games is definitely targeted towards a teen audience. You can tell. Young Justice, I liked it enough, but I haven't read a whole lot of Young Justice, so I'm not the person to say it, but it's Bendis, and modern Bendis, so it has all of its tropes. Impulse was super annoying, and it's a shame because I hear Impulse is like everyone's favorite Flash, like one of the most underrated Flash, not everyone's favorite, but like one of the most underrated Flashes, and Bendis isn't doing it any good. You know, he's not doing him any favors. Superman by Gina Lin Yang. How does somebody who was a huge fan, I don't know here, brush it aside. How can someone who loves Superman, like their own child, grew up with Superman, has a huge passion for Superman, write a super boring Superman comic? How? And it's Gina Lin Yang. Maybe he just can't write superhero shit, but I mean, I should probably read his Superman Smashes the Klan book, but yeah, this one I just felt was just boring and terrible. It does have a 3.2 on Goodreads, and it's a pretty low score for Goodreads, so not the only one that felt that way. I just thought it was pretty boring. It got a little bit interesting as it went along, but it's a storyline that you can't actually. Once the storyline gets to like the holy shit, this just happens part. It's a bit more interesting, but I'm not gonna pick up Volume 2. I will try out his new Superman Rebirth series though next. But yeah, like someone like Gina Lin Yang, like he talked about in Dragon Hoops, like always on the right Superman, then he got the chance to, and then it turns out like this. It's like, damn, what the hell happened? Maybe studio interference, probably. Well, because you think of like Scott Snyder's Batman. I think he did talk about how he wanted to tell a different story. I don't know. I don't remember. Read Dragon Hoops, then you'll know what I'm talking about. Dark Knight's Metal, terrible. But Batman Who Laughs will hopefully give me what I want. Hopefully. But I didn't like Dark Knight's Metal one bit. Finally, Backstagers. Again, if it wasn't for the interesting story, I wouldn't read this book at all. It has everything I don't like in books. The artwork is terrible. It's too, like, it's so much not for me that it's like this is a perfect example of a book not being targeted towards me. It's targeted towards a different audience, which is fine, but everyone else that reads it is going to be like, I'll pass. I'm not going to get volume 3. Because the series did end, actually. And then ending volume 3 is just a bunch, it did. And volume 3 is just like a bunch of like one-shots, or it's like little like an anthology book. Think of like your 100, think of your 80-year celebrations in for DC. They have like little stories, those 100-page giants. That is it. Pretty short video, but I want to speedrun, I guess. I'm not trying to speedrun. I feel like I talk too much about a certain book, and I get like too sidetracked, and then I feel like I'm satisfactory enough. That is it.